There we go. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys. It is time once again for Step Chat with your host, Steve Jones, Esteban, the producer of the Float Convention and newfound hippie with all the hair going. I'm actually very, very, oh, crap. Wow, there's already like a ton of comments going here. Oh. Hello, Carlos. How you go? Dina, how are you? Stephanie, good to see you. Charlie, hello, Julia. Nice seeing you. Debbie Levy, good to see you too. So, hi. How's it all going? How y'all doing? It was a very nice day here in Seattle today. We didn't have a single job to do today, and it was in the 50s, so it was actually kind of warm. We didn't freeze too badly today. So yeah, it was a nice day. And it is not my intention to plug a brand, but of course I'm sure I'm going to hear from somebody talking about my Canyon Rose t-shirt. I'm kidding. It's not. No, it's from Miami, but it makes perfect sense. See, before I used to say, oh, I thought it was lavender when I bought it. Right. And cause I'm a purple guy. Right. But then of course I get back and it's pink. I'm like, pink? No, it's Canyon Rose. There we go. Works out good. Hello, Edna. Good to see you. And I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, Edna. Really glad to hear that. Christy Carpenter. Hi. Good to see you. And Jamie, good to see you as well. So tonight we've got some business to address. We got some personal stuff to address. We got a little bit of everything. So let's just go ahead and get started. Thank you, Charlie. This is my Australia hoodie. I got this. I was lucky. There you go, if you can see it. I was lucky enough. Hello, Gabby and Tommy, Cindy. Good to see you. I was very lucky. In 2016, I got tapped by several groups in Australia to come over and teach linking balloons. So I got to spend about a week and a half in Australia, which was really, really nice. And the best part about it, well, it was bad and it was good. Hello, Angela. The good part about it and the bad part at the same time is that one of my classes actually got canceled. So hello, Hannah True. Thankfully, it was in the middle. So I taught in Perth when I first got there. Then I had like a week off because I didn't end up teaching the class in the middle because I got canceled. And then I spent a couple days in Adelaide, Adelaide, yeah, and then went to Sydney. Unfortunately, on my way to Sydney, wow, holy crap. Yeah, wow. I guess you guys are looking for some juice tonight. Hi, everybody. Hi. There's so many waves coming in already. Hi, guys. Hi, Dory. Hi, Sherry. But the unfortunate thing for me is that I had been suffering from a tremendous amount of head congestion. For some reason, I had gotten quite ill going to Australia. In fact, I remember just being an absolute hell on that flight to Perth. When I was landing in Adelaide, my ears were popping. And so I did that whole, where you plug your nose and blow and and I blew out an eardrum. And I didn't realize it. I absolutely blew an eardrum out. And I was in absolute agony for days and days and days and days and days. And then I got really sick again once I got to Sydney, and I spent at least 2 days in Sydney in bed. It was pretty awful. And it wasn't until I was almost ready to go home that I finally had Beth Barlow, who's out there in near Sydney. She's not in Sydney, but she's near Sydney. She took me to a doctor, and she was like, Steve, I'd hate to take you to a doctor because it's going to be really expensive. And I'm like, I don't care. I got to see what's going on. This is not right. So I go see the doctor, and then they hand me the bill, and I swear to God, it was like $125 US. And I'm like, that's it? And they looked at me like, yeah. I'm like, that's it? I'm like, fantastic. So it was expensive as a relative term, because I guess for the most part they have a nationalized healthcare system, I believe is what it is. So yes, I was I had to pay out, but man, but I will tell you, I loved my time in Australia. I just had so much fun in I forget the name of it. There's a harbor in Sydney, Discovery Harbor, I think it is, where the zoo is, where I got to sit with the kangaroos and everything, and it was so cool. I just really, really had a great time, and I would love to go back again sometime if I can. But other than that, there we go. Okay, sorry, I digress. With Charlie distracted me with the Aussie jacket. Now, unfortunately, it's getting to the point where it's getting so worn. Now it's my work jacket here in the shop. So there you go. So let's talk about float stuff. First of all, let's talk about the fact that, no, you're right, Charlie. That's very true. Let's talk about the fact that Gabby Rivera, excuse me, Gabby's class just recently finished, or the timeline with Gabby's class finished. The free stream is officially over. Okay. So now you can, if you took Gabby's class, that $5 option is out there right now. You have until, I think, Friday of next week to get that bought and paid for at $5. So if you want a permanent copy of Gabby's class, do it now, get it out there, $5, hurry up and do it. Hi, Matt, and hello, Stephanie, good to see you. So there's that, okay, that's over with. Now, as promised, today is the last day you can sign up for my class, which is on Tuesday, which is the Linking Sculptures 101 class. I promise you, it is not, here's how you blow up a linking balloon, here's how you tie a linking balloon. That's not what we're going to be covering. We're going to assume you already know how to do that. But I'm very excited about it because I've been working on prepping pieces and things and getting stuff inflated and going over what's in my head. And there's going to be I'm going to show a lot of content in this class session, and I'm really excited about it. And I really hope that you are part of it. Right now we're over 100 signed up for the class. So that's really, really good. I'm very happy about that. So if you are interested in taking the class and haven't signed up yet, this is your last chance. You've got about 6 hours to get signed up. Drop me a message and I will get back to you as far as what the access link is, because it's not in the orange store, okay? And that's really about all I can say about that. I've pretty much drummed this one to death for a while. Now, you've got 1 week. Uno weekero. That's my pig Spanish. You've got uno weekero. No, kidding. I tease Alexa with that all the time. You got 1 week to sign up for Robin's class. Robin Veach is teaching a Valentine's Day design class. You know, Robin, it's going to be just absolutely gorgeous stuff. It's really, really excited. That's going to be, the cutoff for that is 1 week from today. So you've got 1 week to get signed up. And I forgot to mention that, yes, we did reach the number to give away a free registration for my class on Tuesday. As of yet, we've not quite reached that with Robin's. It's a little more challenging because I know Valentine's Day isn't yet, but really you should be working on Valentine's Day stuff now, the way that it goes. But Robin's class is coming up in a week, and again, be silly to miss it because she's just fantastic. Like always, it is $30 if you are not pre-registered for the Float 2022. It's $20 if you are pre-registered or fully paid for Float 2022. So make sure you message me for your discount code and I will send that to you, and you can sign up for that right now online. I also promised that tonight I'm going to announce our next instructor as part of the Float Foundation. And this came from you guys. Last week in Step Chat, I specifically asked I said, you should submit class ideas, you should whatever, you should reach out to me and say like, hey, this is what we want to see, or this is whatever, blah, blah, blah. Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Can we do that? And one person reached out and brought up a really good question, and one that personally I had not seen in quite a while. And that was on the use of grids and wall murals and that kind of thing. Because I personally, they are the bane of my existence. And I've said from day one that I am so glad I still have all our SDS panels. And like I said, we just recently got like 80 more of them from an auction. So yeah, Sherry, if you didn't submit that, I can't help you there, unfortunately. It's gotta be in the mix. Sherry, drop me a message in my inbox and I'll get back to you after we're done here. So yeah, and I personally don't like working with grids because there's just such a pain in the butt. But there is one individual who's really, really good at working with grids. And this individual, I actually took a class from him myself here in Seattle a couple years ago. And that gentleman is the one and only Dante Longi. So I'm very happy to share that Dante has agreed to be featured as our next Float Foundation instructor, teaching a class on working with grids and constructing mural wall concepts. So that'll be available very, very soon. I will probably get I should have done it today, but I got sidetracked. I will probably get a meme together and get it online very, very soon so that you guys can sign up for that. So yeah, very excited about that possibility. As far as a second instructor in January goes, we are currently addressing that. We're looking into it. We have some feelers out. I've had a conversation with a couple of people. Still waiting to find out if that's a thing or not. What I will say is that more than likely, as we start getting closer to the convention itself, we're definitely going to throttle back on these. In fact, with the Qualitex digital convention that they're planning in March, I don't know that we're even going to bother having a class in March because you've got all that content there. You know, if we don't do two in January, we'll do one in February, or we'll do two in February, who knows? And then, like I said, we'll probably take March off. And then from that point on, it might just go to one a month, because the reality at that point is I need to spend more and more time focusing on the convention moving forward, as opposed to waiting for the convention to move forward. See, there's certain things right now I just can't do yet. You know, there's just certain things that we have to wait for a certain timeline to arrive before we can start working on. Teachers, for example, are a really good example. We've only announced a couple of instructors so far. We talked about Matt Lewis and Stuart Davies, who are teaching a master class together. Actually, I think they're teaching two master classes, actually. We've got Josh Dirks, who taught one of our classes, who's going to be offering he's going to be doing a master class also. But as of yet, we don't have any of the other teachers announced yet. And I don't want to announce all the teachers right off the bat anyway, because the truth is you never know what trends are coming down the road. So it does make perfect sense to wait a little bit and see. So what I've asked of our sponsors is I've asked the sponsors to present to us. We have 6 sponsors this year. We have 6 manufacturer sponsors. We have Qualitex, Batalic, and Anagram. We have Tuftex, Gemar, and a brand new one, Balloonia. And they're all coming to Float, and they're all eligible to bring teachers. So I've asked them all to make sure that I have at least one confirmed instructor, by January, so that we can announce them as part of Float Friday on January 21st. Or I'm sorry, 22nd, not 21st, 22nd. Yeah, there's that. So I'm not going to be announcing all of the instructors right away. I think that it makes sense. Let the sponsors figure out who they want to bring. And again, like I said, by this time, by summer, the way things are going right now, I mean, whoever thought there'd be a sculpture craze? Nobody. Trust me, believe me, I've been told for 25 years I was moving in the wrong direction with sculptures. So it's that kind of thing. So we never know. So I think it's to the convention's best interest to kind of wait and see who's going to be what's coming around before we announce all of the instructor lineup. So as you see, that's just one example of things I have to wait on, right? Other things are controlled by the hotel. Other things are just controlled by time, and right now by COVID, to be honest with you. So we're trying to get all that figured out. But what's going to happen is after, I would say, March or April, I have to really get focused at that point on the production of the convention and not so much the production of these other classes that are happening. And to be honest, we want to make sure there's even some content to present at the convention. So it does make sense to kind of throttle back a little bit and go from there. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about the Float Foundation. So I'm really excited about Dante agreeing to teach. I will announce, I forget the actual, oh wait, hold on. I actually have the date. Dina, right. This was the year of yard art. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that kind of thing, those kinds of things, who would have guessed? Who would have known? Except David Mahoney, of course, who's been doing it forever. Okay, January 12th. Dante's class is scheduled for January 12th. So, which means the cutoff would be January 10th. And like I said, I'll get enrollment up sometime this week. We're going to be gone all day tomorrow. We've got an install across the water. We have to get on a ferry tomorrow to go do a job. And I'm very happy to share with you, I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow. Hasn't happened since May. I have not had a haircut since May. For those of you that don't know, I mentioned it once before. We were on a Tuesdays with Tony call, and what it was is at the time all the hair salons were locked down; they couldn't work. So my hairstylist agreed to come over and cut my hair in the backyard. Give her cash, and she cuts my hair, and it's fine. But because the salons are back up and running again, legally she can't do that because her license is contingent. We work something out. So I'm very happy. So I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It'll be time just for my class. I'll be like, whoosh, all short haired again. It's not that it's not, no, Barbara, buzz it. No. And I don't have a mullet. Believe me. What I have right now, I refer to as Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka hair. It's getting to the point where it's so long and flopped over and oh God, it looks horrible. So yeah, no, in fact, at one point, hello, Priscilla. This is probably the best my hair today has probably been the best my hair looked in weeks. And I actually almost didn't wear the hat tonight to do the call, but then I went, don't get a haircut, get them all cut. You can tell that Lisa was a hardcore twister because that's a twister joke if I ever heard one. Good job, Lisa. Do me a favor, save that rapier wit for Working Wonders Wednesday nights here in the Float Group. There you go. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that. And it's hilarious. That we are in the age of COVID when what normally would be a chore, I'm excited about because it's something different. There you go. Yeah, exactly, Carlos. Yeah, I just saw it. We had to do a Willy Wonka themed Pecky for Amazon. So I had to look for all kinds of pictures of Willy Wonka. And I didn't want, that's right, Stephanie. It's always about branding, baby. Always about branding. I didn't want to do the Johnny Depp version. I wanted the classic Gene Wilder version because I still think most people associate Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder as opposed to Johnny Depp. And so I wanted to do a more classic, which means I had to look at a ton of pictures of Gene Wilder, and so many of them had his hat off, and I went, "Oh my God, that's what I look like right now." So, except mine's not curly, but tight curly. I get these ducktails in the back that just go everywhere, and I can't control it. And the only way to keep it down is if I look like Gordon Gekko and like totally slick it back. And with the ever expanding forehead, it just looks worse and worse and worse. So no, I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so. Teresa Harding, your haircut sounds more like TMI. Another shameless plug tomorrow night, right here on the Float Network. And by the way, I just want to let you know, I specifically scheduled my haircut, Teresa, early enough so that I can be done so I can watch TMI tomorrow night. So there you go. No, Flavia, no. First of all, I will never get to the length of a man bun. I will say this though, in college once, I let my hair grow to my shoulders. It was actually touching my shoulders. Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the time was the look everybody was going for. And so in my younger early 20s, living in Southern California, where of course the Red Hot Chili Peppers were from, and very much part of the beach volleyball culture because I lived on the volleyball court in college. Not in class, in the volleyball court. I don't have pics. I do not have photos of it. I do not have pictures of it. This is before digital technology. Anyway, sidetrack. My hair goes through phases, and so it's gotten to the point now, of course, where it's out of control for me. Once it gets to a certain length, then it actually is better to manage. But then once it hit here, then it got to be too much. And of course, again, being a hardcore volleyball player, even though you'd wear the visor upside down and the whole bit, to keep the hair out, it would still just get in the way. It would bother. And I got to the point where I was like, no, I got to go. So I eventually got a cut. That was it. Plus, on top of that, I was going home to visit my family soon, and I knew that if I went home with that hair, I'd never hear the end of it. So there you go. So yeah, yes, Matt, they are a good group. In fact, they don't like to admit this, but at one time in their career, they opened for Oingo Boingo, a better group. No, I'm kidding. They're both very good groups in their own right. If you haven't heard Oingo Boingo, dear God, nowadays you will never understand it. It was a music of the time. Let's just leave it at that. There you go. But if you've ever heard The Nightmare Before Christmas, you have heard the lead singer of Oingo Boingo, because Danny Elfman provides the singing voice of Jack Skellington. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. And just in time. And yes, Debbie Levy asks me 20 minutes into the program, did I remember to record? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Yeah, Jack Skellington, the singing voice of Jack Skellington, all the songs, to a guy in Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky. That is Danny Elfman, who is the lead singer of Oingo Boingo. So there you go. I've probably said this before. I don't care. He and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things in life, but I love that man's music. So there you go. All right. So I think we've covered just about everything that we need to cover for Float. We had, I will say, again, another wave of people asking to sign up. I would absolutely, again, as a reminder, if you are interested in signing up for Float, you can. We are still offering the payment plan option. We're going to continue. We're going to offer the payment plan option. I haven't decided when we're going to cut it off yet, but I will tell you that we're going to have to cut it off pretty soon because our numbers are climbing. And like I said, until we know what's going to happen with COVID per se, we cannot necessarily just open the floodgates and take everybody. So, we've talked about that on previous step chats, and I'm not gonna do that again. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to share with everybody that we talked about in the group. So I mentioned on Friday, we announced the very first edition of Steve's Man Crush. No, that Danny Elfman is not Steve's man crush. If I had to say, if I were to say that I had a man crush, it would have to be Ryan Reynolds, because he's just the man. He's just the man. And he's cool. He's funny as hell. Oh my God. Yeah. If I had to have a man crush, it'd be Ryan Reynolds. So there you go. And that's, of course, coming from Tony Cooper, host of Tuesdays with Tony, right here in the Float Network. I think everybody got a shameless plug tonight. And early. It wasn't like an afterthought. So, okay, on Friday, we posted the very first edition of the Float Buffet. And what we're doing now is all of our shows that are taking place here in the Float group are being recorded. That's where Debbie was asking, did you remember to record? That's why I'm streaming through Zoom as opposed to doing it how I would normally just do it on Facebook Live, because this way I have the ability to record it. And then what's happening now is that we are mixing down, we are taking little bits of each show, of all 4 shows, Step Chat, TMI, Tuesdays with Tony, and Now Working Wonders, and condensing them down into a 15-minute episode that you can watch at a much smaller bit. So think of it as a bite-sized morsel. Hence the buffet. You can taste a little, taste a little, taste a little, taste a little, and there you go. But that's going to be airing every Friday here in the Float group, and basically on our brand new YouTube channel. Well, it's not really brand new. We've had it, but we've just not really utilized it. So now our YouTube channel is back. And as of right now, not only is the Float Buffet there, but all of the full-length programs that we remembered to record are on the Float channel right now on YouTube. So, and I'm very happy to say we reached a milestone. When you add up all the videos, we had 100 views. So it's again, it's a first. You got to take every milestone while you can. Yes, Lisa, you are exactly right. It is exactly right. It's float soup. It's like, if you remember Talk Soup years ago. The difference is, though, is that I'm not demeaning anybody's show, and I will say that in this particular episode, because it's the very first one, I probably spent more time talking than I needed to introduce things and talk about things. So in the future, it's more going to be more like, okay, and now here's this, and there you go. So network watches us, right? Yes, they're looking us for ideas and stuff, and yeah. So it's not my intention to make fun of anybody's show or anything like that, except for maybe Tony, who apparently got really bent out of shape that I referred to his show as Organized Chaos. It's all right. Own it. If I gotta own stuff, I mean, Tony likes to make memes of me in the group, right? I gotta own that, right? So let me be clear. There you go. Okay. So let's get to this. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about Facebook groups and about things that, like in this group and other groups. So Tony brings it on himself. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So let's begin with a very brief little thing. So over the last couple of days, there were a couple of posts in another group here on Facebook that drew a lot of controversy. And there's been a lot of confusion over some confusion over the drama. Teresa. There's been some confusion over the drama. And you've got people picking sides, and you've got everything else. So I don't need to talk about names. I don't need to talk about anything else. I just need to basically say, what happened. So basically, an artist was in another group and not directly, but indirectly insulted the work of another artist. And when I say indirectly, the person did not come out directly and say, this is bad. But the person made comments that, can't we get something more professional? So it's it's an insult without intending to be an insult. I don't believe that their intention was to actually insult the person that they were talking about, but that is certainly what happened, right? And we've all been guilty of this at some point in our lives. We've all said something that we didn't mean to offend somebody by, but we did, right? It happens in life. We all do it, and so at that point, you have a choice. You can either own it, and like I've done on numerous occasions, and you just kind of go, I am really sorry. I didn't mean to upset anybody. Think about the Flovid logo, right? The COVID logo I made, and it really angered some people. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset anybody. So you can either own it and own the responsibility of it and just apologize and move on, or you can double down. And this individual chose to double down. And so what had happened was the comment that was made about, the picture was actually, I'm sorry, the heater's coming on. I don't know how much that affects the recording, the audio. In this particular group, there is a rule. You're not wrong. Roy, you're not wrong. There is a rule in this group that they don't allow negative posts. And by negative posts, I mean they do not permit people to criticize other people's work unless you ask for it. See, there's a difference. If I was to post a picture and say, I would appreciate a critical review of this photo, then you've opened the floodgates. And then people can be as snarky as they want. They can say whatever, they can tell me I suck. They can do whatever. But I've invited that in, right? I've accepted that. But if I just post a picture, right? 99 times out of 100, whenever any of us post a photo of our work, it's not to be insulted, it's to be applauded. I'm just as guilty of this as everybody else. You don't see me post pictures of my work very often in groups, but when I do, I'm very proud of it, okay? And it's something that I'm hoping that people are gonna go, wow, he did a really good job on that. The individual in question was very angered by the fact that their post was taken down because the post violated the rules of the group. When it was brought to the attention of the admins said, yes, this is a violation of the group and I'm gonna take it down. So they took the post down because it was a indirectly insulting comment, right? Okay. So on the one hand, the individual was upset because their post was taken down, but then they went even more. Then they went very aggressive in their response, and they were angry and they, yeah, you're right. I'm holding my words. Yes, absolutely, because it's the professional thing to do, and I'm trying to be professional. I know this is my thing, and I can be more personal, but I am trying to still be professional in my presentation of this material. I think it's important to do so. Just like I was being professional yesterday in my responses to it, that's another story. But anyway, the individual got very, very angry about their post being taken down. And not only did the individual get angry, now the individual made a comparison, what has been referred to as fat shaming. I don't believe, to be honest with you, I don't believe, as someone who's, and I forget the name of this term, I like to speak in examples. You guys know me. I always explain stuff through examples, right? For example, one of my favorite things to say is when a customer calls me, my favorite response is, I've been saying this for almost 20 years now. It's almost like calling the grocery store and asking how much is your food? Because it really depends on what you want and your tastes and your style and then that's where it really boils down to. So that's how I absorbed this response that was considered by many as fat shaming. That's how I absorbed it. I didn't see it as she was insulting fat people. I saw it as she's trying to draw a comparison as to her complaint. The problem is she's still ignorant to the fact that her complaint in the first place violated the rules of the group. Analogies, that's it, thank you. I speak in analogies. Thank you to Lisa and to Raquel. I knew it was one of those. I didn't know if it was an analogy or a metaphor or whatever. I didn't know what it was, but it's an analogy. And see there, and now I'm being told it's a metaphor, and now I'm being told it's a simile. Okay, somebody Google this and find out what it is. Maybe it's a parable thing, I don't know. Aesop's fables, Esteban's fables. A lady called the man and asked how much his balloons were. So anyway, I get back to the subject at hand. The individual got really angry about the post being taken down, but failed to recognize the fact that the reason it was taken down is because it violated the rules of the group. And this individual thought, you're trying to suppress my opinion. Then the individual did another act after that, which I frankly don't need to talk about, but it was the ultimate FU in my opinion, and that was it. So on the topic. Okay. So what I want to, Steve-ism, no it's not. Parables are appropriate for preaching, thank you. Reverend Jones coming at you tonight. So that's another story. I'll tell you all about that someday. So I would like to express something that a lot of people don't understand. Esteban's parables now has to happen. Okay, so, and I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the subject matter, and I hope this isn't going. I'm laughing because, to be honest with you, I am kind of nervous about talking about this because I am dancing around a lot of stuff because I'm trying not to insult people and I'm simply trying to talk about a situation as it exists rather than draw people into it because people don't matter. Tell me all the things. So when you join a group, when you join a group on Facebook, and many of us are in many groups, you tend to hover around one or two of them. You tend to spend most of your time in one or two of them, okay? And what happens is that's where you do most of your posting. That's where you do most of your interacting. That's where you do most of your commenting, your opinion sharing, your reactions, your likes, your loves, your sad faces. And you tend to focus a lot of your time and energy in those places. And a lot of times you'll do it with, and people will do it with everything, right? We do it with all kinds of stuff. A lot of people do it with certain brands of balloons, right? You've got a favorite brand, and so you spend every penny you can on that brand, and you're cheerleading that brand. Oh, these guys are the best, or these guys are the greatest to work with, or whatever. I mean, that's how it goes. And then suddenly, what happens is when this occurs, you start to think and you start to feel ownership, right? Because you've invested so much of your time and energy, you begin to feel like this is mine now. And I'm not suggesting it's not. There's a lot of people that feel that way about Float, and it's true because that's something I've always wanted to cultivate. I've always wanted people to realize and understand that Float can absolutely be about what you want. You have to just figure out what it is that you want and then get that experience from the event. But at the end of the day, people seem to think that these groups are a democracy. They're not. Facebook groups are not a democracy unless the admins decide to make it a democracy. Okay? If the admins, but see, what you have to think about is that a Facebook group, in all reality, is nothing more to affect Netflix ratings. That's funny. It's a club. It's a private club. Okay. Now, it could be open. I mean, anybody can. Like Float, right? Pretty much anybody can get in as long as you're connected to the balloon world. So it's not that exclusive of like this group, right? But at the end of the day, there's a set of admins who decide what the rules are. In most cases, it's one person who created the initial set of rules, and then those rules will evolve as things continue. Okay. Let's talk about Float. Okay. Jesus. Let's all talk about Float. This group alone. This group is a community. This group is where people come to hang out. This is where people talk and gather and laugh and share things and everything. And it's great. And I love it. And the Float Forum is an even smaller group of people that get together and laugh and share things and this and that. But this group, at the end of the day, this group serves three purposes. First of all, it is a communication tool for the Float convention. And if you don't believe me, you're on this call right now, okay? Secondly, it is a marketing tool for Float the convention because Float's brand is all over it and pretty much the only brand you see in this group, right? Now, don't get me wrong, we have sponsors and they're allowed to post occasionally, and sometimes there's crossover stuff that gets posted. That's perfectly fine because they're sponsors. But there's also limits to what they can do. And if they do too much, it gets deleted. It doesn't get approved. It really doesn't get approved. Okay? That's how it really works. If you'll notice, if you've ever made a post in the Float group, it never goes straight to the group. It has to be approved by the admins, okay? Because it has to follow the set of rules that we've established. And frankly, that people have said they appreciate. And then finally, the third purpose of the group is to represent and communicate for the 1 Million Bubbles Project, which is a new thing that came up, during COVID. So There we go. That's it. That's, at the end of the day, that's what this group is founded on. Okay? That's what this group is at the end of the day. Your business. Do you bring joy and laughter to people? Absolutely do you. Are you part of milestone celebrations that people will remember forever? Absolutely you are. Do you bring joy to people's lives with rubber bubbles? Yes, you do. But at the end of the day, your business is there to make money. That is the ultimate foundation of your business. Float has the same thing. Okay? So there you go. I'm sorry, the comments are flying by so fast right now, I can't keep up with them. So, because there's a secondary conversation going on, and it's not to me, it's to them. So the group in question, as I'm sure many of you have already figured out by now, is Balloon Friends. And I had a very long talk with Kathy Buell this morning, and Kathy said something that really, really surprised me. Well, not really surprised me, not really, but said something that really stuck with me. And the idea is that the whole conversation was about the cover photo of the group. And Kathy said, in her words, I could have chosen a photo to put there from a balloon god. She could have some amazing photograph from some rock star balloon person as the cover photo of the group. But that's not what Balloon Friends is about. Balloon Friends is not about being a balloon god. It's about the journey to becoming one. Think about that for a second. Every single person in this group has a business. And every single person that's on here tonight and checking this out and everything else, everybody has their own focus. What works in my market will not work in Paducah, Kentucky. I'm not picking on Melissa Vincent. I'm just saying I live outside, just outside of a major US metropolis, okay? And I've got tech company money up the wazoo here. So under normal pre-COVID circumstances, my methodology and my business plan worked really well for me because I had clients that wanted what I had to offer. The stuff that I build would not necessarily sell in Paducah, Kentucky, right? Just it. And the stuff that Melissa sells may not necessarily sell in your neck of the woods because you've got a different demographic. I'm going to brag on her. I've been bragging on her for days. Stephanie Marquardt out here, dear God, have you hit 200 yet? Stephanie Marquardt, I believe, has stuffed almost 200 elves inside of gift balloons. Guess how many elves I have stuffed in my career? Absolute zero. Our business models are different. Okay, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So everybody's got a different model. So to use a term, we should have a more professional photo isn't fair. It's not. It's not a fair statement to make. But let me get back to I got sidetracked. Let me get back to my point. One of the rules of Balloon Friends is that they will not accept negative comment, or not negative comments. They won't accept negative posts. There was a while there when a lot of people would go to, well, they'd see like DIY balloon decor somewhere, or they would see like Home Depot decor somewhere or whatever, and they'd post it in the group. I'm just as guilty of it. I was guilty of it because I would frustrate it because, you know, it's like, maybe a slow week for me or whatever. And then I walk into Home Depot and I see that, and I go click, you know, and that sentence was the incorrect. Gabby, I don't really understand what that means. I'm not sure if you're talking about my sentence or somebody else's sentence. So there you go. And again, I'm guilty of it too, right? I'd post a picture of a really craptacular Home Depot arch or something and be like, wow, you know. And it was decided that that wasn't going to be tolerated anymore. And there were some instances where certain members of Balloon Friends were posting pictures of other people's work from Balloon Friends and then making all kinds of snarky comments. And of course, not having all the information. Then it turned out later that your comments were out of line, not just because they were rude and disrespectful, but because you were wrong. You thought you knew what was happening here, but you didn't really know. So, and yeah, and Kathy, yeah, we all, I mean, we've all done it, right? We've all, look, we're living in this day and age, right? So Balloon Friends decided a while ago that we're not going to make comments like that. Now remember, as I said before, I don't think the comment was a direct attack at the photo, but it was an absolute indirect negative comment. And by the definition of that, the comment had to be taken down. Now, what's happened as a result of this, and what's happened as a result of the doubling down effect with the reaction, is that Carlos, I know we've never met, and I love you. She wasn't hacked. She was not hacked. So by doubling down, there's been another side of this equation that has now come out very angry because they believe, what, are we not allowed to have an opinion now? You know, I agree with this individual. I think that she'd have a different picture, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't see what the problem is. The problem was not the opinion. The problem was how the opinion was presented. And that is what violated the rules. So the post was taken down. Okay. That's what happened. It's not, and I've now spoken to 2 different admins of the group, including the founder of the group, which you've all figured out because I already said this morning, I had a talk with Kathy. That's why the post was taken down. The post was taken down because it ultimately violated the rules. It was not because of the opinion. It was because of the violation of the rules. I tried to explain that last night to an individual that's going the other way, and then that person made it a whole other story, which we're not even going to go into here. They have a right to their opinion, as I have a right to mine, and that is something that I guess I should address. Am I the most professional person in the world? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am absolutely not. I have been, Debbie Levy once criticized me. I love Debbie Levy to death. Debbie Levy was offended by a comment I made about an individual's t-shirt style one night at opening night at Float. Was that a professional comment? No, not really. Was it a me comment? Oh yeah. And let's be honest, if you've attended Float prior to 2017, you've probably been witness to an epic Steve Jones meltdown. So let's be honest. I've always had a temper. I've always had, but here's the difference. When I am in a professional group, I try very, very hard not to make comments. I try very hard to be very thorough in my explanations. And the reason I write a country book every time is because in the past, whenever I tend to write 1 or 2 sentences, people take it the wrong way. So I feel like I almost have to over explain it. So that way my intent and my tone of voice is perfectly clear. Well, apparently that comes across to some people as lecturing. And apparently that comes across to some people as I'm the only opinion that matters. And some people apparently felt that things that I said on my personal page are inappropriate at all to say because they were directed at other balloon people. If I make a comment on my own wall, that's too damn bad. Now, what I will say, thank you, Janice. I appreciate that. A lot of it has to do with age and wisdom and a lowering of testosterone. Um, that's TMI. Um, there goes the professionalism right out the way. No, you know, I forget where this is going actually. But I live in a very liberal part of the country, and I come from a very conservative background. So a lot of my personal feelings, a lot of my political feelings, I like to. I mean, to be honest with you, I consider myself very moderate when it comes to a lot of issues. I don't necessarily fall on either side of the spectrum, but in this part of the country, it makes me. I might as well. I might as well. Just I might as well be walking around with a banner. So I don't even want to go beyond that. But okay, Carlos, hold on. I'm gonna, you know, thank you, Christy. Oh my God, yes, Christy. But if you don't clarify up front, then you have to answer a million questions. Yes, thank you. That's right too. So in this part of the country, I am a ultra conservative, even though I'm considered very moderate. And there are a lot of moderate politicians here that are branded as conservative because they're not extremely liberal. So Alexa, years ago, made it very clear to me that, Stephen, you have to be extremely careful what you say on your own wall because people associate it with our business. And I always looked at it from a client perspective. And I always thought that balloon people could see the difference. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, some balloon people cannot differentiate the difference between my behavior on my own personal page and my behavior in a professional group. So that's on them. It frustrated me, it aggravated me, and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's on them. And maybe they're the ones who can't tell the difference. Maybe they're the ones that have a hard time differentiating in their own life. I don't know. Yeah, Lisa, you're right. They do matter. And again, I'm not the most professional guy in the world because if I was, I have a feeling I wouldn't be sitting on a step in front of a cluttered office with a t-shirt and a sweatshirt on. What I'm trying to be is integral. I'm trying to be who I am because I believe that more people will genuinely identify with me and what I'm trying to say if they believe it's coming from in here. That's where I'm getting at. And then to then and then you look at the situation where the individual that was insulted at the end of the day was Kathy Buell. Kathy Buell has been a friend and colleague of mine for a very long time now. She is one of the most nurturing people I've ever met. She is one of the most caring people I've ever met. And she has probably affected the careers of more people in this industry than 95% of us will ever do. To insult that person, you're going to have to forgive some people if they got offended. and you know, it's the way it is. Now, to answer, Carlos brought up an excellent point. Does this mean this person's a pariah now? Is this person whatever? You know, again, it goes back to what I talked about a little bit ago. When you realize that okay, so I have been guilty of doing, I've been very guilty in the past of violating Balloon Friends rules, mostly with promoting stuff, mostly with, you know, promoting stuff too much. And it's because I was watching other people do things. Well, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it, not realizing that they weren't supposed to do it either. And now I'm in trouble, right? And I think at one point I actually did get a suspension for like a week, and I was actually banned from posting for a week or whatever. But at the end of the day, I had a choice, right? I had a choice. I could either own the mistake or I could double down on it. I chose to own it. This individual chose to double down. So at the end of the day, the individual not only, you know, basically threw a virtual temper tantrum, but then stormed out and quit the group. So at this point, the group, so here's what happens. So the people that disagree with what this individual said are making all these comments, and now this person is blind to them because they're not there in the group anymore. And the individuals who agree with her position will now chase after her. Oh, you were right. They were so wrong to do that to you. And that's kind of the point of doubling down. At least from my perspective, from my opinion. Okay. So Kathy hit it right on the head, Carlos. The decision is up to the individual. If the individual wants to come back and own, I don't know if you know, you know, how do you coin that? How do you exactly, is it a mistake? Was it a whatever? You know, I don't know. It's really up to the individual. You know, I apologize for my actions. You know, then they don't admit they made a mistake or whatever. You know, it just depends on what you want to do. And again, it's your opinion as to whether or not it was a mistake. It's, you know, it's all that. It's not, there's no right or wrong answer, but there is a right or wrong answer. And the right answer is that the original post violated the rules of the group, and that's why it was taken down. That's the rule. That's what is factual. I was told that was my opinion. No, that is factual. That is exactly why the post was taken down. It violated the rules of the group. And clearly, there have been some responses to this. There's been a couple of responses to this. One has been made public, one has not. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic. So, yeah. So now here's something else though I do want to say, and I don't want to end it on this, because once again, the brilliance that, before I even go, I gotta give some props where props are due here. You know that somebody has really crossed a line when Alexa Rivera gets out there and starts criticizing. I am so jealous of Alexa's ability to control her emotions and her behavior. I wish to God I had this. I swear to God, I think I've cried more over the death of her dog than she has. She's sitting there today. We made a tribute to him on the water dish that goes outside. And the whole time I'm just tearing up and she's just like, doo, 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 doo. I wish to God I had this ability. She never gets pissed. And if she does, she just kind of, I'm good, let it go. It's hit the fan when La Jefa goes out and just unloads on you. And then goes to her own page and unloads. She was still pissed this morning. that is one ridiculously wise woman in my life. The other, well, I shouldn't say the other, but another ridiculously wise woman in my life, and I'm so thankful that she's come into my life since COVID, is Teresa Harding. And Teresa, we were chatting very briefly about what I was going to talk about tonight, and Teresa said, just remind everybody the importance of being kind. She goes, you've been doing that. Keep going. And I'm like, oh my God, you are absolutely right. I've been saying for a long time that in this age of COVID, we have to give people a break. We have to, Crystal, you have to, people are under a tremendous amount of stress and strain like they've never been before. We all know it, right? And so we try very hard, and I've been trying very, very hard in my life to recognize that fact and accept that when people get really angry or really whatever about something, it's really important right now to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and let them, okay, you know what, this happened. So my belief is, if this individual wants to go back into that group and own what they did, then I, for one, applaud that. And I feel like, you know what? Okay, we can write it off to stress, whatever, boom, it's done. I got personally attacked last night in the same series of threads. I thought about it long and hard today. Really did. And I wish I could say I didn't, but I did. And I decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to try to write it off as, okay, this is just COVID madness, COVID anger, COVID frustration, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm trying to look at. We talked about being kind to our clients. We talked about being kind to customers and potential customers and everything else. And I think we got to remember to be kind to each other. We're all in this together. And Teresa's absolutely right. And for those of you that do not watch TMI on Monday nights, I implore you to give it a try, because when you get off that show, when Teresa's show is over, I feel lighter. I feel like a good chunk, that the support and the genuine caring that she expresses through this show, it's amazing. I love it. I love all of it. I mean, I really do. I enjoy all the different shows. I enjoy all the different shows for different reasons. That's why I enjoy Teresa's, because I always feel lighter when it's over. And thank you for that, Teresa. Thank you very much for being who you are and for reminding me that this could have gone a couple different ways. And believe me, I debated all of them. But at the end of the day, I decided that it was really important for me to, my whole argument yesterday was that I was trying to present my position and the positions of the administrators in a professional manner, and I was accused of doing otherwise. So it was really important for me tonight to remain to a degree of that same professionalism so that my point would be anchored home. So there you go. Sermon over. Okay. So let's take a minute to recap everything we talked about at the beginning. Stephanie McMillan, I'm COVID clueless. All right. So let's chat very briefly about the recap. Again, tonight, you have 5 hours to sign up for my class that's scheduled on Tuesday. Please, dear God, don't call me tomorrow at noon. Don't do it, because it ain't going to happen. It's not going to be there. Okay. It'll be done. It'll be over. The email blast will have already gone out and it's finished. So make sure that you get signed up tonight. Remember, you must have either attended Float 2020, be pre-registered for Float 2022, or you must have been part of the 1 Million Bubbles project in order to participate in this activity, or in this class, excuse me. So you'll get a special link and a code from me to get in or to get your discount if it applies. Okay, so message me and don't wait till 11 o'clock tonight because I promise you I will be already in a coma. All right. Secondly, Robin Veach's class coming up is going to be, you have a week to sign up for that class. You've got 1 week to get signed up for Robin Veach's class. Again, the link is at the Orange Store on the website. You can sign up there. If you signed up for Gabby's class, if you took Gabby's class, this is the week you get to buy for $5 her class video. So remember, that is this week. So you got the access code in your emails, okay? Make absolutely certain that you order that before, I think it's Friday, because after Friday, the coupon's gone. There was 170 something people in that class. Don't call me on Sunday of next week. Oh, I missed it. That's too bad. That's why these are screaming deals. You get a week and that's it. Okay. And finally, we announced tonight our new instructor on January 12th, our new instructor for the Float Foundation, Mr. Dante Longy, who's going to be teaching a class on grid walls. So that's going to be taking place right here, well, not in the Float Forum, dear God, you'll be signing up. You'll see promotions here in the Float Forum. You sign up at the Orange Store, same deal. $20 if you're pre-registered for Float 2022, $30 if you're not, okay? And it's open to everybody. So there you go. Also, I want to remind everybody that the Float programming here in the live thing are now being shown both as an abbreviated version called the Float Buffet, which is posted here in the group, and full episodes of everybody's shows are now being streamed on our YouTube channel. We have a Float the Convention YouTube channel. All of the shows are there now. So all the shows from last week, all the full-length episodes of What We Remember to Record are there. So you can go in and check it out now and see what's going on. So in other words, you don't have to scroll through anymore to find it. And if you subscribe to the channel, then you'll know when a new show is uploaded. You'll get an email, hey, this edition's uploaded or whatever. So if you're one of these folks that doesn't want to sit here and sit with me live on Sunday nights, but you want to watch it at some other time, it's more convenient to go back and check it out there. So yeah, that's what we've been working on for you, just to make life a little easier and to make life, easier. Certainly not for me, but easier in general for all of you, because at the end of the day, I am here to serve you. That's my job at Float. Okay, that's it. So I'm looking, I haven't seen any questions, so I'm going to hang for a couple more minutes just to make sure that there's nothing else that pops up. Once again, Roscoe. He's there. He's sitting in the box. I'm almost wondering, should I go get him? He doesn't like it when I pick him up. He loves Alexa picking him up. I've said this before. He's Alexa's cat. There you go. So, all right, I'll say this again. I'm going to spin it around. You're on a chair, of all things. Roscoe, Alexa set up a box for Roscoe under her work table. And so now he just kind of hangs out under there most of the time. And what's even funnier is he's not allowed in here. So you would think with the sign down, or we put this wall up that he normally can't get through here, because for some reason he has this tendency to pee on couches. One of the things that Roscoe, come here. Come here. Okay, his head actually popped up. What's happened is that he gets very comfortable in this box, and now he just sits there all night long. Come here, dude. What's amazing is if I went over to the rabbit cage, I guarantee you he'd come out, because if he thought I was petting the rabbit, in fact, let's find out if I'm right. Okay, hold on one second. So there's the rabbit cage, right? There's Kansas's old bed. Now, let's see if I'm right. Come here, Skittles. Okay. Come here, Skittles. Really? He's going to prove me wrong live on camera. Wow. All right. Well, then, you know what? If I don't do this, Teresa Harding is going to kill me. So let's do it. So everybody knows there is Mr. Roscoe. That is a cat face if you've ever seen one. There you go. So, Teresa, I hope you're happy now. You've got a chance to see Roscoe tonight live on camera, so you know he's there. His contract now allows him basically to hang out wherever he wants, and I just can't do much about it. So there you go. Steve is gaslighting us. No, whatever. Okay. So again, I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any. I don't see any questions, so we're just going to leave it at that then, I guess. So guys, thank you very much once again for tuning in to Step Chat. I really do appreciate it. In the meantime, he's such a chunk. Wow. Wow. Teresa, did you hear what Stephanie said about Roscoe? You know, guys, just look. Take care of yourselves. Try to do something every day to bring you a little bit of joy. And try to be good to each other. And let's leave it at that. So thanks, guys. I will see you next week. In the meantime, take care, be busy, be profitable, be good.